Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to Fire Damage Profits. It's your guy, Elijah I. Rubin, and this is the beautiful Jen Coronado, my partner.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. And so today we are going to be talking about the 5 of the top mistakes for you to avoid when going after fire damage deals and how to help you avoid them. Yes.
This is a good one, especially for those of you who are joining us, that it's your, maybe your first time going after these fire damage deals. Really understanding what are the top mistakes that most wholesalers or investors make is really going to help you and save you a lot of time and headaches. So I'm really looking forward to this one, Elijah. Are you ready to share some gems?
Ready to share the gems, the acknowledgement. But first, speaking of acknowledgement, I got to give a special shout out to our Fire Damage Profit family. If you guys are not part of the group, go to Fire Damage Profits on Facebook. Shout out to all the family members out there, the La Familia. Specifically, I want to give a special shout out to Justin Blankenship. My guy is absolutely killing the game. He has about 4 deals closing this month, 60 grand. He is absolutely destroying it, leading by example too. Leading by example. So salute to you, King. Want to give you your roses real quick. And so, I'm super excited to share about this because, a lot of people, get nervous, and they don't want to get burned from the fire, right?
Yeah, a lot of people get nervous. A lot of people, are not sure how to approach these. So this is why we created this group. For those of you who are getting started, we've been in this journey now for, I know what is like the last 5 years, Elijah, or 6 years.
6 years.
Really specializing in fire damage properties. And so for those who are just joining us, Elijah, can you just recap how we came across this niche to begin with?
Sure. I mean, going through the journey, of just being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, wanted to be able to separate myself, found real estate, made my first deal, made $0 the first year. By the second year, made my first 10,000. By the third year, I'm crushing it, killing it. Think I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. Fourth year hit, boom. Remember, I started in 04 and 08. Collapse happened. And then you know what? Fast forward to 2 years later, I thought I was going to leave the business. And out of inspiration, probably out of desperation, breeds inspiration. Luckily, after doing probate city violation deals, stumbled into the art of buying fire damage deals. And being out here in Arizona, this is the land of the gurus. All right. So if they weren't going after it, I knew I had something I could go after that everybody else passed on. And so, I started going after fire damage deals, did a couple of them. Closed them, so I realized I had no competition. Nobody's going after it. However, I started going after the shiny object syndrome and started doing some other deals until one of my actual public adjusters helped me realize I can make 3 checks on one deal by taking all the different pieces together, bringing it in together. And once I was able to see that no one else was doing this, and I can make more money on doing deals that no one else was going after. No brainer, but the rest is history.
So here we are. We've been sharing this niche now for about a year in this Facebook group. However, we've actually come across more of why people still don't want to come and go after these deals. We've gotten a lot more feedback from other investors. So today is going to be a fun video just to share with you guys what it is that a lot of investors are scared or like the mistakes that they make when it comes to fire damage properties in general, and how you can avoid them. So stay tuned. And if you're just catching this now and you're going to be going somewhere, make sure you guys catch the replay.
Yes. And so for those of you guys out there who are on the fence, should I do fire damage deals? What should I do? I don't want to be a one-trick pony. I want to be a sophisticated investor. I want to separate myself from everybody. However, I'm scared to get into this niche. We made this specifically for you out there. We're talking to you today, all right? So sit back, get your pens, get your paper, let your friends and family know, hey, I'm going to lock in with the fire damage king and queen. We're going to give you exactly what you need so you can eliminate all those fears, those preconceived notions. We'll help you evaporate those, all right? So, are you ready? Jennifer, real quickly, just off topic real quickly, would you let everybody, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite color?
I'd say purple. That was a random question.
So now, if you ever see Jennifer, let her know that her favorite color is purple. Most people don't ask people what their favorite color is. So if you want to get a birthday gift, if you want to send a appreciation token gift, make sure it's purple. She likes purple, yo. That's a little technique. A little technique to build relationships. Things outside the box. Ask people what their favorite color is. And now I was gonna see if you changed it. All right, but it is purple. Royalty. That's royalty. So. Back to you guys here. All right, let's lock in. So, are you ready to go, Jenny?
No.
No, she's not ready to go. All right. So, the first one, the very, very first biggest mistake I see when people are looking to get into the fire damage niche, they're starting to see maybe a couple fire damage deals. They saw maybe somebody in the group closing some fire damage deals, and they're tired of going after absentee owners and going after every other deal that everybody else is going after. The first thing I notice, they treating it like it's just a regular wholesale deal. They treat it like every other wholesale deal. And if you approach it like every other wholesale deal, where you come into the seller, hey, hey, Jen, yeah, so tell me about your property. Me and my wife are looking to buy a property in your neighborhood. And no, you weren't. You saw that I had a tarp on my roof. You saw my house caught on fire, and you're looking to steal my equity. Get out of here, you shark. All right. And so that's what you don't want. That's what you don't want. If you just treat it like you're kind of taking the same, we call the generic wholesaler approach. Jennifer, how would they feel if you just take the generic wholesale approach? How many bedrooms and bathrooms you have? When are you looking to sell? How does that make people feel when you just lost everything?
So as far as the fire damage victim?
Yeah, the survivor, saying that they don't, think about it. If somebody gets a phone call and they're treating it like it's an absentee owner or as a city violation lead, the homeowner, think about how they feel, and Jennifer, you talk to these sellers too, and you understand the pain they're going through, but you understand it because you've been in the game long enough. The people who may think it's okay to treat this like a traditional regular wholesale deal, what do you think is happening when they're talking to the actual homeowner?
So this is one of the things that we share a lot in our program, when especially we make sure that our students understand is that fire damage sellers or homeowners, they're not, you don't want to approach them like a traditional deal because they have experienced a lot of shock. They have gone through a very, traumatizing event. So asking them about their property, if they're interested in selling, without acknowledging the fire, without having some sort of empathy first on their situation, is a no-go. Obviously, there might be a couple people who you will still be able to talk to. However, for the most part, it is not the best way to approach them. So approaching it like a traditional wholesale deal isn't the way to go in these cases. So, and we do see a lot of people that, attempt to do it.
And they get hung up on, they get smashed on, and then they say, oh, this fire damage stuff, this doesn't work. And I'm like, oh, well, leave them for us. The fire damage family will swoop them up. So what you want to do to help avoid that, first, acknowledge that fire damage sellers are different. They did not wake up and miss a mortgage payment. They didn't wake up and not pay their taxes. They didn't wake up and didn't take care of the trash and the debris and the graffiti. They're not like every other seller. So acknowledge that first, and then use the trusted advisor approach. Make sure you start off with some empathy. Make sure you attempt to educate them and try to go out of your way to empower them with multiple options. If you're able to do that, where the conversation should be like, hey, are you okay? Did you lose any important documents? Did anybody get hurt? Do you need to see a trauma support counselor? Totally different conversation that a lot of you guys might have it out there, right? How many bedrooms and bathrooms? How many square feet? What are you looking to sell? What's the least you can take? Would you take less? Would you take less? How about seller finance? Would you get subject to, that is not going to fly in this niche. So now you're equipped with the right approach and the right mindset to go after these deals. Treat them separately. It's going to work out well for you. And just think about it. People don't care what you know until they know how much you care. Straight up. Across the board, and that's going to be a key part, I think that's concise. What do you think, Jenny?
Yeah, just to add to that, looking at traditional wholesale deal, the main things you don't want to approach, or the main, I guess, differences between a fire damage property and a traditional wholesale deal is going to be number one, the approach. Number two, the analyzing of the property is going to be a little different. And number three, the escrow process or the buyer. Really is it's just a different process. However, it's very similar, and with a few tips, you can actually be on your way to separate for yourself from all the other wholesalers and investors, and have an opportunity where you're able to help a seller, someone who really needs to sell, not calling, just your traditional list. You're actually talking to someone who needs your help by you just educating yourself on those four key differences. Like I said, approaching, analyzing, the escrow process, as far as like when there's insurance or there isn't, and finding a buyer is going to be a little different. So that's really why we're here, because there's a need for more information in this niche, and that means that there's more opportunity for you if you're watching this. If you're looking for a wholesale deal, you guys know the opportunities that are out there. Many of you have drove by a fire damage, or maybe you could talk to someone you didn't know what to say. So now that we're going to share some more tips to help you, so make sure you guys catch the rest. But that was a great example that you gave them, Elijah, on how to empathize with them initially. I think that's the hardest part for most people. Once you get a deal, you guys obviously have this group as a resource. If you do talk to someone who wants to sell, there's other people in your community or in other investors that might be more knowledgeable than you. So the hardest part really is that approach. So making sure you write down some of these different questions you can ask is going to be key. You can actually hashtag fire deals for free training. You can also ask us about the top 15 questions, and we'll send you a list of the top 15 questions that you want to ask a fire damage seller that are a little bit different than your traditional deals, so that you guys are equipped with what you'll need in order to start approaching these deals right away. So the next mistake of that
we see.
Commonly when approaching and when dealing with fire damaged properties is that you will let the level of repair scare you away. Where they approach a fire damaged property, or they drive by one and they see it's all messed up and they have no idea where to get started. We understand that it can be very daunting. What was your experience, Elijah, when you first started going after fire damaged properties?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You haven't seen one of these unless your house was caught on fire before and you were fine with it. It looks a lot worse than what it really is. It looks really bad. The wood's burned. The firefighters, dumped a pool worth of water inside the roof. Through the roof. Roof's all smashed up. It smells. They got insulation everywhere. It looks really, really bad. And so that scares a lot of people. They don't know how to analyze it. They're not sure how to, kind of figure these numbers out, and I want to give a shout out to some of our students, because they took the time to say, hey, even though they were afraid, like some of you guys might be afraid of it, but they embraced that fear and said, like, you know what? Anything could be repaired. And if you're not living there, let your money live there. And if it can bring you back a return, who cares how bad it is? Who cares that you have to replace the roof, that you put new insulation, you have to move all that debris out there? And a lot of our fire damage students were able to not only embrace the fear, but make a decision to go after these absence of the fear, right? And I think if you're able to take that mindset shift of saying, yes, there's repairs, but as long as the property is worth X amount of dollars and I can fix it for Y amount, I still have a profit. And if there's a profit there, guess what? The investors are there. And that's what you have to remind yourself, that, hey, you don't have to rebuild if you don't want to. You don't have to live there if you don't want to. But why should you pass on a deal that everyone else in the market's passing on? That's what I noticed myself. What do you think about when you drive past a property and you talk with people, they get scared, they get nervous about the property. Do you ever talk to your friends like, no, we buy those? Do they ever do they like, you crazy looking at that property? Like, why would you buy that, Jennifer?
I mean, not necessarily me, because people who know us know what we do, but I would say that I have talked to, for example, other investors where I tell them what I do, like fire damage properties, or now in Clubhouse. Sometimes I'll share what the opportunity, and I will get some pushback. Most of the time, other investors will let us know, like, hey, well, that's not really something that new investors should get started on. When I have, we have like our students as well, who was working a 9 to 5, found a fire damage deal, driving for dollars, send them a mailer, was able to close that deal, make 15K. We had, a lot of new wholesalers that come in, and because a lot of people are not approaching these deals, they're able to still come in, still give an offer that is, again, there's not a lot of offers that are even being done to these properties. So what's scaring you away is scaring everyone else away. And so the more you run away from these opportunities, you're just leaving money on the table. And so, yeah, like I said, I've had people tell me that that's not a good strategy, that they have a lot of problems. And I'm like sitting here, like watching my students deals and watching them close these deals. And it is different, but it doesn't have to be hard. It is, there is a couple more pieces, but it really can be a simple process if you just take the time. Watch our trainings. We have them every week here, and we give you more than enough information for you to start at least going after these deals, approaching them, start analyzing them, start asking the questions that will help you get in front of these deals and be able to move one.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, like anything else, 80% of your success is right between these two areas. It's your mind. If you think you can't do it, you won't even try. You'll pass on it. Like all the other investors in your market are passing on those deals. Now you have evidence that not only we've been doing it for over going into 6 years now. We have our fire damage students are going after, they're closing deals, creating opportunities, and they're building up the pipeline. So while you're going and compete, a lot of people competing against a million other investors, all fishing in the same pond, you're able to start build up your pipeline because you're not going to be afraid of what the repairs look like. You're going to be able to say, hey, that smells like profits. That looks like there's some good profit could be over there, because everybody else is going to pass on them. So now that you have some clarity and what your eyes see, it doesn't have to be what your pockets feel. All right, so be clear on that. I think we hit that in the head for you. Don't let what you see scare you out of making profits. Because think about it, everybody else will pass on them. You're not going to pass on those anymore. So let's get into the third top reason. The third top reason, and probably the third mistake most investors make when they go after these. All right, so the third one is feeling overwhelmed because there might be insurance involved. Ooh, they hear us talk about the insurance money and how does that work? And I barely know how to read my own insurance policy. How would I help somebody with theirs? And that's too much information. And I'm here to do real estate, and I'm not an insurance broker. I've heard it all, guys. I got people in my DMs asking me, how can I do this? It's too difficult. I don't know what you're doing. No, just leave that alone. Can you help me? I'm like, listen, yeah, sure. I can give you a fish. Yeah, I can give you a $500 fee. But I'd much rather teach you how to fish. I'd rather you go out and close deals so you can feed your family for a lifetime. And so let's get into the way to avoid that. One way to avoid that. So I have some of my ideas, but Jenny, what would you recommend to the people out there who might feel that same way? Hey, these are just too much. I know there might be insurance. I heard you guys talk about this, but that sounds like it's way too sophisticated for me. What would you suggest to them?
I would definitely go back to our video we did with the private, our public adjuster.
Justin, salute.
So I would definitely go back and watch that video where we really break everything down as far as the insurance goes. But overall, like, the insurance is just part of the process. We know that there's going to be an insurance agent going out. They're going to do a claim. The seller's going to get paid, and we just don't want to close escrow until after they've been paid. And that's really as simple as that. Other than that, if there's no insurance, that means that the seller is going to be even more motivated to sell because they're not getting anything back for that property that's just, burned. So that's really it. hopefully that just helps you not to feel overwhelmed with the insurance. If the seller's asking you questions, you can always get back to them. Use the 15 questions. You guys can hashtag 15 questions in the chat, in the comments, hashtag 15 questions, and our team will send you a copy of the 15 questions you guys can ask as a seller. So that way you're in the driver's seat of that conversation. You know what to ask already. And if they have any questions, you agrees, you just kind of go through and let them know that you'll get more information for them. The big thing here, I know that's what we had talked about, like just like think of it as just leveraging the experts. All you're really doing is you're going to step in to the trusted advisor. You're going to help them with what they need to figure out. The problem is right now they don't have anyone helping them. There's a lot of fire damage sellers and victims, fire damage victims really, who don't have anyone. Most investors are not prepared to deal with this type of seller. And so by you being that one, by you having your 15 questions, by you being here, learning about this knowledge, you're already ahead of the game, and you can be confident when you're approaching them, knowing that they're not getting approached left and right. And we know that because we've been able to work on these opportunities in markets like New York, markets like California, and some of the toughest markets. These are the opportunities that are available. And across the board, most of the investors that are experienced or that have done big deals have gotten, most of them who have done fire damage properties will tell you that these are one of the most profitable opportunities. They'll tell you they did a 6-figure deal, or one of the biggest deals they've ever done was a fire damage one, because remember, these are the deals that people need to sell. They didn't plan on it. There was a fire. They need to sell. They need someone to help them.
Yep, and you hit it on the head. And so I just want to make sure I got a good, I think, analogy that helps some of you guys out there, right? And so if you guys want the analogy, all right, put one in the comments. Put one in the comments. I can't be giving you guys my gems, my analogy for free. Come on, man. Throw one in the comments. Let me see that you guys are with us. Let's see that. This is a transfer of knowledge and energy around the world, all right? Put one in the chat box. Put one in the comment box so that we know you're with us. That you are vibing with us. You're absorbing. You're picking up what we're dropping. You're picking up what we're dropping. Let me see it. Put 2 in. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now I'm talking. Now that's your job. All right. So let's get to you guys. So think of it like Jennifer, beautiful Coronado, has shared with you guys, saying you're leveraging the experts. You don't have to be the expert. It's kind of like you're a real estate investor. You're a wholesaler. You're not a title expert. You're not an escrow expert. You use a title company. You get a deal. You bring a title expert into it. They do their job. They get paid for their job. And then we get paid for doing our job. And so you're not a title expert. You're not an escrow expert. You use a title expert. That's what I want you to be able to see, is that you can leverage other experts, just like you use a title company. If you had to get a probate deal, you use a probate attorney. You wouldn't try to start reading probate deals and try to become an attorney. No, you're gonna bring an expert in, let them handle that portion of the deal that you need that support with. That is what you're gonna do in these deals. So when you start seeing insurance, there's a couple of things we teach you, like looking at exactness. All right, that's like an exact repair report that says how does the insurance company justify paying out this lowball amount to the homeowner. If you read the declaration pages, these are just a fancy way to say the top 5 first pages of your insurance policy, so I know how much insurance policy amounts you have. So I know once I look at how much money there's owed that they say is owed to you versus how much money you should have had, then we know if there's actual money for you to be able to generate and to make on there. So I want to make sure I hit that on the head. But you don't have to know it all. I just give you 2 things to be aware of. Once you're aware of it and you think there's something there, bring in one your expert and let them do what they spent years of honoring their craft doing. It's like a title company. So cool. So remember, make sure you guys hit the hashtag, all right? Hashtag 15 questions. And we are going to make sure you get the top 15 questions that ask every fire damage seller. If you reach out to me, you reach out to one of our students, guess what they'll tell you? Did you get the 15 questions answered? All right, so that's going to help us help you get your deals done if you need some support on, all right? So let's get down to the fourth tip. All right, fourth tip here. is big one here, guys. All right, this is a big one for you guys. Go ahead, Jen.
So the fourth mistake that most people make is that they don't see the value in fire damage properties. So the thinking, just because or I don't buy them, I don't want to fix a fire damage property. It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of mess. Thinking that they are not valuable. Okay, real estate in general always has some sort of value. And again, worst case scenario, we're looking at the land value. So there's a lot of different ways to look at that. And we're going to go into why this doesn't work. Go ahead, Elijah.
And so what happens is just because you don't see value in the fire damage properties, all right, I mean, doesn't mean somebody else does it. All right, just because, what did they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Just because nobody wanted to date you, look, your girlfriend dated you. I'm joking. It's the same type of thing that you want to be able to see for yourself. Just because somebody passes on it doesn't mean everybody passes on this. All right, so I want to be very clear because I get it all the time. Well, who's going to buy these fire damage deals? I don't know anybody who buys them. Great. I'm sorry that you educated yourself. I'm sorry that you haven't put yourself in fire damage property groups or be around people who deal with these to find out. It's a whole market of people who buy these. I have people who buy these who call me weekly. Elijah, I know you got more fire damage deals. Do you have anything available? Sure, I have something for you available. Or you know what? Give me a call back in a couple more weeks. I'm sure I have something soon. So just be very in tune and be very clear that just because you pass on them, don't think everybody else is passing on them. Because you're going to end up passing up on a lot of deals in your market by your preconceived notion versus accepting that there's really a buyer for almost any property at the right price.
Yeah, and I think that's what we really need to focus on is more like what price do we need to get it at versus no one's going to want this. That's just deals across the board. So really, and then as far as who would want that, if you guys are wondering, well, who actually would want to buy this property? It's not just our buyers, but seasoned investors, people who have already been in the business for a while, who are not afraid to this. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to just post it and all of a sudden you're going to get a lot of buyers interested in it. What it means is that by having a few buyers who do want these properties, or by being able to promote it and just make sure that you're dealing with a seasoned investor, someone who can handle this type of rehab, then you can get this deal moved. So it's really, that's the only difference. So we're afraid of it, regardless of which market it's in. Even if we don't have a buyer in that market, we know we can get these deals moved as long as we get them at the right price.
And thank you, Jenny. I mean, you break this down so eloquently. I mean, you're a pro. You're a pro at just giving out knowledge the right way. Think about it, guys. Think about it. It's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers. If the numbers are low enough, I'll buy a property in Haiti at the right price if the numbers make sense. Be very clear about this, all right? The only thing a rich person want to do more than get richer is get rich on a property that their rich buddy couldn't find. And if you can find a deal that makes sense for them to buy, and you have the deal that you can give to them, trust me, there's buyers in every single market for these fire damage deals. It's just, can you find them? Can you analyze them, and can you get at the right price to make it profitable for them to go at it versus making 50 offers with a realtor, fighting against everybody at the auction, or hoping some wholesaler doesn't juke out all the juice out of the property where there's no equity left for them to do the deal. So because of all those factors exist, it makes sense to find these deals, go after these deals. If you get stuck on a deal, if you have a fire damage deal, go to Fire Damage Profits. Reach out to a community. We have a plethora of buyers, plethora of wholesalers who have buyers who are looking for those deals. So stop passing on these deals. Bring them to the table. Let's get you paid, and let's go ahead and walk on these deals. Passing on.
And our mistake that investors make when going after these fire damage properties is think that you have to be an expert. So you think that you have to know every piece, you have to know how to analyze them, you have to have your buyers, you have to have this, you have to have public adjusters. You don't need anything but to approach a fire damage seller and let them know that you can help them. That is all. We want to make it as simple as that. Find a fire damage property. Find a fire damage property. You can do that if you hashtag GetFireDeals in the comments. Our team's gonna send you a list of 5 unique ways to find these fire damage deals. Now we are constantly sharing this training because we tell you how to find it in incident notification, in Twitter pages, in Driving for Dollars, and a couple other ways. So you guys can start finding these deals right away. Use the top 15 questions that we give you. Start approaching these and let them know that you're there to help, that you want to see what you can help them with because they just had a fire. Don't want to reach out to them within 3 to 7 days. And you can go from there. You really are there to figure it out. As long as if you've wholesaled a deal before, you can do this. If you haven't wholesaled a deal before, you can work with someone who has to help you with it. So I really, really want to encourage you guys not to wait until you are an expert. There is just no such thing. If we would have waited until we were experts, we would have never been here now. There wouldn't have been this fire damage niche, and there would be a lot of investors who wouldn't have been able to, close deals through our program as well as outside of our program. There's a lot of investors, if you guys scroll down the page, who just through the awareness of the niche, they've been more mindful. They've used the free resources to find deals and close them, and they tell us all the time. So make sure you guys look for that evidence. They're in all the wholesaling groups. You're gonna see other people, even other investors who are just not sure what to do with these deals. It's a complete untapped niche. So it's time for you guys to start taking advantage and stop letting them just pass or stop passing by.
Yeah. Yeah, and once again, Jennifer broke it down good for you guys. And like think about it, and it's that hashtag get fired deals. Get fired hashtag get fired deals. All right. And so that's what happens. Like I said, you don't need an expert, you don't need a degree, you don't have to be licensed, you don't have to be have a certain IQ. No, first you have to have the belief that you can do it, right? You have to believe that you can absolutely buy a fire damage deal, like we talked about, all the mistakes, all the preconceived notions, why people don't go after these. So once you get past the mental blockage, you can then talk with them. These are still human beings, just like you and I. We're humans. Talk with them. And because nobody's helping them, the more inclined, if you take the right trusted advisor approach, empathize with them, let them know you specialize these, that you're interested in helping them, that you can buy the property, you can help them get set up for a Red Cross, you can get them in a better position that they found themselves before you. Now you're able to do and go after these deals that everybody else is passing on. So just remember, you're still wholesaling, not doing anything extra. You're still wholesaling. You're just going after the deal that no one else is going after. Just give you an example. My guy Benitez, shout out to Benitez. All right, so my guy sees me at the 100K event. I'm speaking at an event, and he's not even at the event. He's streaming in, looking at it. And he sees a fire damage deal or something. He saw a couple fire damage deals. He's nervous, wasn't sure what to do, wasn't sure how to go after those. Like everybody else, it's super scary, super sophisticated. Saw how easy I explained it. He decided to get past the fear, get the gumption, went after one deal. Next thing you know, the seller said that the seller wanted $25,000. He offered them $5,000 for it. The seller said, "You know what? I haven't got an offer in over a year. I'll give it to you for $3,000. So the seller negotiated himself down because nobody else were going after these deals. So without closing any other deals, without being some expert, without understanding how the insurance worked and how to make 3 checks through one deal, you didn't need any of that. He just went after one deal, got it for $3,000, turned around, was like, "Hey, who's going to buy these?" Nope. Put it out there because the property's worth so much more. He got it for $3,000. He sold it for $10,000. Made $7,000 on his first fire damage deal. And if he could do it, how can you not do it? So don't be afraid that you're not an expert to go after these. Regardless if you're a beginning wholesaler or you're a seasoned expert, anybody and everybody can go after these deals. Now, if you want to make 3 checks on one deal, yes, you want to be a part of the Finance Profit Group. We give a lot of information about how to do that. But just going after the deal, just going fishing in your own pond, you do not need an expert. You need some fishing pole, all right? You need a hook, and you need to go out there and cast, constantly cast and get out of here, right?
So now that you guys know the top 15 out the top 5 mistakes that investors make about, going after fire damage properties. We hope that you are inspired to start adding this to your marketing, start adding this as part of your, either weekly, you can start driving for dollars, looking for these deals. You guys can get fired deals in the comments to get the 5 ways to find fire damage deals. Now, you guys, we get so many messages. We get people who are doing this. So if you think that just because we have a Facebook group, there's a lot of people who are taking action, I promise you, it's probably less than like 3% of the investors in this group who are even going after it, because there's a lot of people who just like to, get information. They won't necessarily take action. We get it. There's a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of things that are drawing your attention. That's not what we're looking to do here, right? We've been wholesaling, Elijah, for the last 15 years, 16 years. I've been doing this for 6 years. This is our bread and butter throughout. We don't just do fire damage deals, okay? We specialize in probate. We do all types of wholesale deals. We're Elijah's doing developments now. So we are just sharing this niche because there's nothing out there like it at all. We were looking up YouTube one day and we noticed that the people who were sharing information that was just so and we kept sharing this in masterminds. Then we had people asking us to talk about it in interviews and conferences. And that's what started this whole group. So we are just sharing what we know, that what we've been able to feed our families with for you to start doing that. And we're seeing our students closing deals. We're seeing this niche growing. But you guys are, those of you who are watching this right now, you guys are right in the beginning of a new, the momentum that's happening with fire damage. There's still a lot of opportunity. So if you get in now, it's going to be very profitable for you long term. Even if it takes you a year to figure it out, think of that. These deals have so much profit opportunity. Plus, they're just different, and you're helping people who really need to sell. We're not talking you're calling and convince someone to sell. These are people who have to sell because they just experienced a fire. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. We'll try to get them into it. Any final thoughts, Elijah?
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, what Jenny said, like, be very clear that we do more than fire damage deals. Like I said, I was just in Austin, Texas, at a developer Elite X development mastermind with some of the brightest minds in the game, some of the top development. So we do that too, all right? I do every other. The best part about once you know how to do fire damage and become a sophisticated investor, I do every deal that any other wholesaler could do. I could go to anybody's market at any time and do any other deal that any other wholesaler could do. However, I do a deal, Jennifer does a deal, our fire damage students do a deal that 97% of the rest market can't do. All right, so that's why I want to make sure that you become part of that 3% with us. Let's expand that. This is what we've been preaching the fire damage gospel here for over a year, and still people are still like, come on, let's get you locked in. Let's get you guys, let's not have to be scared. It's not the boogeyman. It's possible. It's easy. It's definitely doable. With global warming, there's just going to be more of it. So just know that, hey, if you're getting right now, it's a blue ocean, right? It's a blue ocean. Very few people even know about or even go after these. Like right now, the deal that you should be closing, people in your market, other wholesalers, other gurus, they're selling it to me. They're selling to me, you know, and when they should be selling, they should be sending them to you. And that's why I want to make sure that we put yourself in a position. Like I said, our goal, we don't need every fire damage deal. We work from a mindset of abundance, all right? And we want you guys to get inside this. There's plenty for all of us. So we want you to just be a part of this. Wow, because eventually it will be oversaturated. Be very clear. It will be oversaturated at some point in time. So this is the time. It's for the early adapters. It's for the people who want to be at the party before everybody else shows up. Sorry.
We did get one question here. So the seller gets money from insurance company and money from selling their home. So exactly. I mean, if they have insurance, right, that means that number one, they would have to submit a claim, just like you would with a car. You'd have to call an adjuster, come out, give you an estimate, which is called an exactimate. And what happens, what we really tell you guys is that a lot of the homeowners, a lot of these sellers, they don't realize that the insurance companies aren't paying them what they deserve. Now that's the
time.
that's how we open the conversation all the time with the sellers. We just let them know, hey, did you know that you might not be getting what you deserve? And I can bring a public adjuster to the table and figure out if there is extra money. I don't know. I'm not a public adjuster, but I'll bring one in and then we'll figure it out for you. Now that's one of them, but one way to do that. And if they don't have insurance, then they will at least, be able to get money from selling the real estate. If it's partial loss, then they can still get pretty good money, meaning if it's not fully burned down to the ground. Some of these fire damage sellers it's only like the kitchen, or it might be just even like the garage, and they just don't want to deal with it. So a lot of these, you can get deals that are like not that burned. And then you might get some that are all the way to the ground, and now it's just a matter like the first deal. And actually some of those are actually easier. So for the most part, for us, it's not a matter of like whether you can analyze it or not, because worst case, you can talk to some buyers and then see if they would buy something in that area. You can reverse engineer the process, but it can be very simple on that end once you actually have that trusted advisor approach with the seller. Like once they feel like you're there to help them, that they're not getting what they deserve from the insurance company. You can provide them with the cash offer, which a lot of people are not. They're not. These fire damage sellers are not in a list. That's the big thing, is that many of you who are getting started with wholesaling, if you go into the YouTubes or you listen to a lot of the gurus in the space, they're going to tell you to cold call. They're going to tell you to SMS, which is all great. There's a lot of marketing strategies out there. But if you're doing what everyone else who's watching that same YouTube video is doing, then you're going to get the same result, meaning, you have so much more competition, and now you're trying to find a deal in a place that's so saturated, and you're going to feel like it doesn't work, versus trying something new, just approaching a seller who's not getting approached from all these different ways. Now it's going to be a little bit different. You're not going to have it be as easy as far as like you download a list and then you just upload it. No, you're going to have to probably drive the properties. You're going to have to go through the incident page, look up who the owner is, just a couple more steps. It is more manual, and you can contact less people and talk to someone who really is interested in selling.
Yeah, and like I said, Jennifer laid it out for you guys. Like I said, if there's insurance money on the table, the homeowner is going to keep 100% of that. You're just going to try to help them get any new insurance money. Any new insurance money that's found, the homeowner keeps 50% of it. You and your adjuster split the other 50%. Then you're going to buy the property. Okay, so now that you're buying the property, now you're cashing them out for the property. And then they might want to replace that property. So you're going to help them replace that property because you gave them the cash to begin with. So now you're getting paid 3 different ways because you helped them 3 different ways. So just know that if you get outside of your own personal way, if you stop that disbelief, if you change that negative programming that it doesn't work and it won't work for me, and I'm not smart enough and I'm not capable enough, just know that you can do this. So let's get this in place so that you're in a position to dominate. Listen, nobody's coming to put any food on the table for you. Nobody's coming to put a check in your account. And because of that, it's up to you to think outside the box. When the market shifts, like it did on me last time in 2008, this is something I personally, I'm a walking result. I am the case study that this is personally recession proof, because if buyers stop buying, if sellers stop selling, if lenders stop lending, guess what? Fires are still going to happen. An insurance company is only be paying them out 80% of the time, regardless. And so if they say no, they don't want to sell the property, great. How about you keep the property? Let's get your insurance money that's owed to you. How's that sound? And now making money on properties I don't even buy, while other people might have to be scraping hopefully to get by. So I just want to put that in you guys' spirit. Be very aware that this is possible. Avoid those top 5 mistakes. Make sure you put yourself in a position where you're doing something that not every other wholesaler in your market's doing. This is going to give you a competitive advantage. You know, me and Jennifer, we're super, super passionate about this. I think we have one more question before we wrap up. I think there's one more question.
Yep. How do we find experienced agents to network with fire deals?
So there's is a Napier. National Public Adjuster Association. So that's one way you're able to do it. You could Google some of those. A lot of them are on LinkedIn. You can reach out to some of those, but by all means, you always reach out to us as well. We have, what market and state you are, and we have a lot of resources. However, understand
Napia.
find the deal first, because a lot of times you're gonna find a public adjuster. I saw that, and I just want to make sure you don't put the cart before the horse. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to find the deal first. You want to talk with fire them sellers. You want to let them know you're here to help them, that you can help them multiple ways, unlike anybody else in the market are able to help them. And then once you get the deal in place, then get the adjuster, because the adjuster, just like a realtor, just like a title company, sure they'll work with you, but they'll be a lot quicker and more inclined to work with you if you have a live deal to work on, right? So that's a big piece. I just want to make sure we hit it home for you guys. And so if this was good for you, if you got some value out of today, I want you to put two in the comment box for me. Put two in the comment box for me. Jenny's giving you resources here. We got trainings for you. We got groups for you, all for free $99. We just want to pour into you guys. Make sure you guys get more value than you guys can possibly even ask for. And so that's what we want to just make sure we raise more awareness of the most slept on niche in the game. This is the last piece of land in the world, in the real estate world, that's untouched.
So what we want to do, and we're looking for kind of ideas on what to share with you guys. One of the things we haven't done in a while is like case studies. We have some great case studies, because we know some of you, until you see the money, you don't really realize it's real. So we wanted to bring some of our students as well as some of our past deals. We have some pretty cool deals that we've done that, again, it's not always about the money. It is mostly, but it's also it's also about just the way that we found them, right? Because we've done it all. I mean, we've cold called, SMS. I had 12 people cold calling once. I was doing it all, spending a lot of money. And that's kind of like what we'd like to share with people is like, hey, you can spend a lot of money and still not get the results you want, because now you're having to deal with all the influx of leads and how do you organize all that, and then overhead, like it's a lot. So that's why we love this niche, is because we can find deals with that no one else is going after, which means less marketing dollars for us. We can get up to 3 checks on one deal. So that means that, again, they're more profitable. So we could do less and make more money. And we get these referred to us all the time. In this group, you guys can go scroll down and you guys will see people just asking us if we could get their deals. So that could be you in your market. Those could be being sent to you. So that's just a huge one right there. Just being able to talk to other investors and ask them if they have any fire damage deals. Because again, if one man's trash is another man's treasure, this case woman. So send me your deals if you're not going to start going after them.
Straight up. You say, like I said, she's a closer too, y'all. She's a closer too. All right. Don't play. And so, and one last thing I want to make sure I throw out there. There's not a lot of females at the level that Jennifer is out here. I know she's super humble. She doesn't brag about herself. Yes, she's an integrator. Yes, she's a phenomenal mother. Yes, I didn't know she could even be a phenomenal homeschool integrator teacher. She does a lot of good things out there. So if you're a female and you're looking to connect with other powerful ladies, make sure you reach out to Jennifer Coronado. All right, I just want to make sure she gets her flowers, because I just see there's a big need for other quality.
A great, amazing agent who I could actually listen to. Yes, I'm here. Thank you. So yes, I connect with more ladies. I always want to see more lady investors, especially moms. For me, like especially when I see women wanting to get in the space and they have children, like that is just touches me in my heart, because I understand how it is. So we don't have all the time to do this like a big scaling operation and to deal with a lot of multiple pieces. So this is definitely the niche for you. And I actually know a few in other groups of moms that they love these opportunities. So by all means, this is definitely for the people who don't have a lot of time, but they want to go after like niche deals, people who need to sell. This is going to be the niche for you. Plus, when you're thinking about fire damage and these sellers, being able to help them is very rewarding. It's a very rewarding experience. It's a very good feel transaction. So if
that's what I wanted you to hit on.
Wondering whether I don't want to have to get someone to negotiate them down and do all of this. With the fire damage seller, it is a little bit different because you're not having to, these people need to sell. So they're going to be more willing to work with you. They're going to be willing to take that lower offer because that property isn't, again, not a lot of people are providing those offers. So that is a huge piece that I feel like that just holds people back from entering the industry in general.
Yeah. And so I just want to make sure you guys see it. So speaking from a lady who's executing, she's empowering, she's letting other people know in the fire damage space that this is for you too. If you, like I said, if you're struggling, if you're not sure what to do, put yourself in position. Make sure you hit that hashtag Get Fire Damage Deals. We're going to be reaching out to you. Make sure that you guys are part of the Facebook community, and make sure you just go after these opportunities. Because if you don't, one of our students will. All right. So we want to make sure we all win together. We're just big on everybody winning. Everybody's empowering. We feel to keep our cups full, we got to continuously pour in your guys' cups. All right. So, Miss Coronado, we had a great time. I had a good time. You had a good time?
I had a great time.
Hope you guys had a good time. So until the next time, what we like to say, each one teach one, each one reach one. God away today.
Be a blessing to
someone. Salute. Bye.